It's the Boardcast. What's going on, guys?
Let's go.
Now, before we get into the fallout, which we're all prepared for,
Talk of the town.
I want to get to something first. I just finished June on audiobook, right? It's important. Now, I'm going to re-listen again with the new game while I drive the truck. And it's called How Many Times Can You Mention the Word Sphincter While Talking About Tents?
We've come full circle back to June.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's you know, like different words meant different, had like proper meanings, like in the English meanings in the past. But he used the word sphincter like 65 times.
For the tense,
For
right?
the tense.
Yeah. Because it was the best way to describe the opening and closing of
Is it?
it, right?
Is it really?
I don't know,
Is it
dude.
really the best way?
How would you describe it outside of sphincter?
The entrance.
The entrance? Nah, that's not descriptive enough, man. You got to know about how it closes.
When he's trying to create a setting where like Paul like leaves his tent and overlooks the vista of the world of June.
The opening.
yeah. But it's done through the guise of making his way through a sphincter. It's like, wow.
The door.
Is it because you're hearing someone else use the word sphincter instead of reading the word sphincter?
I reckon it was never intended to be said out loud. You know what I mean? Like as someone who's writing a book in 1965, he's not thinking about, I guess they had radio plays back then as well. Like, I don't know, man.
This coincides my theory that Frank Herbert was secretly gay. I don't know. That's a whole separate story.
Based on his character choices. And stuff.
Yeah, and then also Duncan Idaho is like a recurring character that keeps coming back.
It does make
and
him
I would love the idea.
Pretty hunky.
I would love the idea that Frank Herbert had a secret affair with a man called Duncan from Idaho.
Through the mailman for his street, which was Duncan.
But he was married. He had kids and a wife. So
I feel like it's unfortunate for that period of time that you had a lot of guys who didn't feel like they could come out, so they would, have wives and relationships. And sometimes there's plenty of history where the wives were on board with it as well. They were allies to the queer community, so that they could live the way they wanted to without being reprimanded. So
I've never watched Brokeback Mountain, but apparently that's the plot, right?
Oh, is it?
They're
really?
two married guys. And they go out to the mountains.
We're probably not experts on this, so maybe this isn't the best topic.
Yeah. William shrugging his shoulders. He's like, I don't know, guys.
I don't know. It's not Warhammer.
Is there anything on here we talk about is
It's not magic.
Even more less Warhammer. Busy weekend for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Tokyo Alley. It was the Anime Con and the Perth Convention Center.
How many guys do you have? How many people turn out for the One Piece
I was
event?
expecting to be a pretty quiet affair because there was a bunch of other events happening at the same time.
Right.
And if you have to go to a convention already just to attend a card game, I don't know if people are going to show up, but it was quite good. We had 27 people show up.
Oh, geez, that's pretty
27
good.
people for a convention event's not bad. Danny had to scramble and find more tables and chairs.
Whoa, that's a good problem, though.
Yeah, I was
good problem.
I was dodging costumed teacups and sort of stuff to get the new tables out from the whole storage area to get them into the area. So
Cool.
So it was a lot of fun. It was actually being in the convention environment, I guess, running an event, it was there's a bit more of an atmosphere going on. So it was very busy as well. I've never been to a Tokyo Alley. I didn't realize how big it was, how big this Japanese culture anime thing was for a lot of people. There was some of the aisles, man, was just completely full of people. You couldn't even walk through properly.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
I don't know if it's one of those things where it's was it super busy because this is one of the only things they've got for this, or it really is that big and they could do 4 of these a year and they'd still be just as large each time?
No, I think once a year it's good enough. Because you have other cons as well, right? Just not just one Tokyo Alley. You have Supernova. You have a couple of other stuff as well.
There's the Oz Comic Con now.
Yeah, and
we've been invited to go back to Pixel as well, which is a similar kind of concept, I think.
Yeah.
We think it'll go on a Pixel?
Yeah, I think so.
September, right?
This was, to be honest with you, this was quite successful for us. I think it was, on our regard, there's a lot of things going on at this one time, and we probably could have been more prepared. And by we, I mean me more than anything else. But we jammed it all together at the end, and I think at the end of it was quite valuable. We spoke to a lot of guys, spoke to a lot of people in the community who are interested in the hobby and want to come to these kind of things. For us, it's really good exposure. It allows us to run an event in a different way. It gives us a bit of a scope of how we could run this event and make them more profitable or useful to ourselves as well. It's all about marketing and what we can achieve and who we can bring back to the store at the end of the day. And obviously with us being our very northern suburbs, kind of further into the northern suburbs, not everybody we talk to when we net is going to convert into a new customer for the shop here, but it gives you exposure. And I think a lot of the time the different hobbies, depending on the event and the hobby they're playing, people are willing to travel for that. So it's not always such a waste of time. Like depending on when, when we do conventions for the, like when I used to do conventions for the tech stuff and go to Melbourne, we know that that's going to convert across because it doesn't matter where they use the tech, it's always going to be the same. Whereas here we definitely trying to get more targeted people. But at the end of the day, if we can sell a few products while we're there and get our name out there, I think it's definitely worth it for us.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And it was 2 cons you've been to in a row now, because the previous week you were at Commander Fest. We touched upon it like a little bit last episode, but we never really went into it, right? So I guess this is my chance to be like, how was Commander Fest? Did it live up to what you're thinking about, what you thought it was going to be like?
Yeah, I think so. Like, it wasn't probably the best way to play the game of Commander, but it's definitely very novel, and I think it went down quite smoothly. Like it was the first big event for Commander they've done in WA, and we don't get a proper Command Fest like they get in the US or in England. Ours was run by Good Games, and they did a fantastic job, and it's definitely pushed by the guys who run the GP, and they want to kind of bring back competitive Magic, but to do that, I think they know they've got to try and convert some people back from Commander into competitive Magic, you know what I mean? So it was ran over Saturday and Sunday at the Perth Town Hall, which is a smaller venue overall, but it's definitely cheaper for them to start with, and I think it was a good choice because it's a cool atmosphere. It's in the middle of the city, so they're going to get both North and South guys. And I think at the end of the day, the fact that they sold out both days was quite positive because if people didn't go to those events, people are never going to come back to them.
How they pair up?
It was very much so you had tickets and you're supposed to use the tickets, but they didn't really use those more than anything else. So most people just went and paired themselves up on the like different tables themselves, which isn't the most organized way to do it. I think it leaves a lot of onus on potential community members that aren't always the most socially able, you know what I mean? Like you really want to be able to, as an event organizer, you want to take that into your hands to make sure that the paying customers are getting a good experience by you taking that on. I think there was a bit of a queue system, and there was pretty handy. There was some judges on hand. They were kind of like looking around to see if somebody's wandering around trying to find a space, and that would help them find places as well. So I think that bit could have done better, but at the end of the day, it was pretty packed the whole way through. So
okay. Interesting.
You came back with some goodies though.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was pretty cool. They had like an artist over from the United States. It was Leibowitz. So I'll have to get his name right. We'll make sure I'll link it in the Instagram like dump at the end of this. But he had some awesome art prints. He did a lot of the stuff from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, and he had some cool things like some metal tokens he'd done up, a bunch of art prints and stuff like that as well as playmats. So we've grabbed a bunch of those to use as like prize support for like Highlander and different events here.
Yeah, I saw his art on the playmat. Like he did show and tell, which is the original show and tell from the set.
It's a very distinct art style, but it really
very
stands
nice.
out. It looks
I like it. I like it. I love that art.
That original like 90s art style is definitely very synonymous with like Magic the Gathering, and I think they really pulled it together. So this fact that he's like a big part of that scene is pretty impressive. So
it's cool.
I'm excited for more of these events because especially after COVID, I think people are now like coming back out.
I think
and they really
there's more and more like all these competitive play. I think competitive play is coming back heavier and fast. Like it hits harder now.
Yeah.
And there's more format, but it's just that Magic is trying very hard to bring back its competitive. Yeah. Because the amount of players, I think during COVID, we do have a pretty good number. When we did Pioneer during all the qualifiers, we had I think they had like 30 to 40 people, and then the numbers dropped significantly.
They call it the Super Series, right?
Yeah, correct.
The Australian New Zealand Super Series.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's hard. When you've got competitors are like flesh and blood and one piece, and they're doing an amazing job of drawing players in, new players, and support, and like tickets to go to different events. Magic really has to try and push over the top of those. And how do they distinguish themselves separately from these other two games that are doing quite well? And, it's not just those two games, but these two are outstanders compared to those. And they've got to compete with the 10 other like card games going along the way. Like we haven't really got any of the Star Wars stock in here yet for the card game, but now people are starting to ask about it. I think there's a bit of traction coming along there. So I think, that's gonna be another competitor. And obviously Star Wars always has a big draw. And even if the Star Wars game doesn't last forever, it might be enough to last long enough to inhibit the growth of another game in the meantime.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like we've seen so many games come and go over a period of time, and they get really big like Vanguard, and then they kind of peter off in the distance. But I don't know if that's necessarily true around the world, or if that's just our Perth example here, because we've got a much lower player base just in general with our population. Is it really as low, or is it just low here and the smaller games can't compete here because people get drawn into the bigger games. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if you go to a big card game shop in the US, instead of having 300 regular customers, they have 2,000 regular customers, and something like Vanguard can still pull 40, 50 people on an event every month.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it's think with Perth. I think it's definitely a Perth thing where like you have to be a little bit more selective with what games you want to play, because you don't have the population necessarily to sustain like a smaller community. So people have to be more selective with what game they want to play. So they have to be like, well, everyone's playing this game, I'll play that game, because otherwise I won't be able to find a game.
Yeah. And you do see that a lot of guys who they play like quote unquote the game they're playing, and but really it's just them looking for other people most of the time, and there isn't really anyone they're actually playing the game with. So I think it's hard as well as a store. Do we branch out into other niche things and try and create a niche for ourselves that is our store gets known for, or do you really just support the main games like Warhammer and Magic and One Piece because at least you're going to secure customers for that? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard.
From our perspective, it's like recently we've had a really big push supporting the like the Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Flesh and Blood. They're really, really established game systems. And it's not that I really want to care more for the smaller game systems, but so much of my attention has to be diverted towards, say, Warhammer, for example.
Yeah.
That like sometimes Star Wars gets left behind a little bit. And it's not that I want to, it's just that these games have so much more people in it. I kind of have to dedicate more resources to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So didn't you guys have another event on last weekend, the Progress?
Yeah, we had ProQuest for Fab. Which is pretty cool. Liam Bennett took the win at the end of it. So
No doubt.
but no, that was, and again, the Flesh and Blood community for Perth is one of the best communities, I think. Like at the end of the day, the majority of the players were still here, even though it was a top cut out to the last few players, and then it's a top cut to the last two. There's like 10 players like standing around, taking photos, getting really excited about the game itself, and supporting the players. And like I think that's such an amazing situation, rather than cut to top 8 and the majority of the players leave the building for the day. You know what I mean? And I think it was pretty good, and it was quite tight, and they're all like cheering for each other. And I really like the Flesh and Blood community. Like it's a bunch of like regular, like awesome guys, or like well dressed and groomed, and they really represent themselves and their game and their community really well. And I think that's a really positive thing that a lot of other games could like try and strive to achieve.
Yeah, interesting.
So,
and Liam's like a top world player, I think.
Yeah, he's competed in like
world,
like
nationals, yeah.
Well, it's hard now. Like I think the next one, if I'm wrong, I'm mistaken, but I think it's Canada is where the go tos, but they've got to get themselves to Canada.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think for most players in that position, that might be just out of reach.
It's Amsterdam.
Oh, it's
Amsterdam. Okay.
So it's like $2,000 a ticket to Amsterdam.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
I would thought like the finals would be in New Zealand, the birthplace of Flesh and Blood,
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just bring it back to New Zealand?
I think they've done it in New Zealand.
They did.
It wouldn't cost them any less than $2,000 to get to New Zealand.
And what happened was they did it in New Zealand, and there's like a hurricane or like a massive weather thing happening the same time when the massive event was happening too.
So my family's actually from New Zealand. My dad and his whole side of the family, and I've traveled there quite a bit for family stuff. But every time you go there, you just roll the dice of what natural disaster you're going for. Like it's like monsoons or tsunamis or volcanoes or earthquakes, or like it could literally be anything. Like torrential downpours. At any time of the week, it's something going on. So it's maybe not the best place to go to. Like my granddad's house, who lived there, his backyard fell into like a crevasse like 3 times.
What?
Sometimes it's the cyclones, sometimes floods, sometimes Army of Mordor.
I'm pretty impressed with Fashion Blood, where they did the recent calling in Phuket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like it's a holiday destination, so you can kill 2 birds at one stone, right? You go there for a holiday. If you miss this holiday in the beach site, and you go play some cards,
Well, I think for it's hard because Perth is such a different outlier. Like going to New Zealand or like Southeast Asia for like Sydney, Melbourne, that's not that big a deal. It's still expensive, but it's not that expensive. But here in Perth, we're so far away from all of the primary existence. Everywhere you go is very expensive.
Yeah.
Like even just to fly from our side of the country to the other side of the country is too expensive. Like you can go to Bali or Indonesia for cheaper money than you can go to here. So it means any of the competitive guys who want to compete in those, even to go over east, you're looking at $1,000 a ticket. And that's a lot of money if you don't have that money. Like if you've got that money, that's perfectly fine. But I also don't think at this point in my life, with the responsibility I got, if I want to, like a ProQuest, for example, could spend $2,000 to Amsterdam, I'd have to convince like quite a few other human beings that it's okay for me to fly to Amsterdam.
It's not an amount of money that doesn't make you consider, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to consider $1,000 whenever you're spending it.
Definitely.
Right? So
And I wonder, like, at some point, like how well, like obviously the One Piece tournament that happened like earlier this year, that guy's won a lot of money and he's able to sell a lot of his promos for a lot of money. So maybe there's a chance there where you can account on the fact that those promos are going to make you the money back, so you can kind of net like negative there or whatever, or same. But if you can't account on that, then yeah, that's a lot of money to get started. So.
Yeah.
But then, you talk to a lot of other guys like, who do like professional darts or something, and they'll fly all over the round three times a year. So it's like, when do those price pools and support like start to match up with each other maybe? And will that ever be the case realistically?
So for One Piece at the moment, you break even for Perth, for someone from Perth. If you go to over the East to play, to break even is top 64. Start making is, you can still make it top 64, and top 16 on top 32 is definitely you start making. And then of course top 8 you just make a bang.
I wonder,
and this is minus sponsorships, right?
I don't think there's sponsorship. Is there any sponsorship? I don't know.
For One Piece players?
Yeah.
You sponsor a team.
I sponsor a team, but I don't sponsor flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
I mean, like there's no reason for me to sponsor flights.
Your player's like, I need $2,000 to fly to Amsterdam.
I mean, if they share their winnings with me, then I don't mind.
He's got like a racket going on.
But no one shares that. I'm not sponsoring anyone.
I wonder when they set the Flesh and Blood tournament in New Zealand, it's like great for us, and then everyone in America is like, what? What the hell?
They're going to use Google Maps to figure out where it is.
It's true.
Yeah, it makes sense because majority of the players are like from the States.
I wonder what the flight cost from the US to New Zealand would be. You got to be looking at thousands and thousands of dollars, right?
It's about $2,500 maybe. Yeah. So like over here to Perth to like Texas, it costs maybe about two and a half.
Oh man.
True. You got to really want to go see cactuses, eh?
Hey, Texas man, you gotta see Joe Rogan.
I got several of my friends.
We'll get some tips.
I got several of my friends that are like want to go to Texas for like two things. It's like barbecue and shoot guns. So because gun laws.
Technically, you can do both of those here.
Yeah, but not the same, right? You can't shoot a minigun here. So
You'll be broke by buying the bullets though.
yeah. I heard there was like it's like $30,000 to shoot the minigun for like a minute or something.
What?
Some crazy.
Why
it was
would you
some
like to do
crazy guy.
that?
Yeah.
So like you get videos on YouTube of like dudes that are like in that classic like definitely drives like a nice car and goes to golf courses, and he goes to like a gun range and he's like, I would like to shoot the minigun, please.
I'll just play Warhammer here and just pretend I'm shooting a minigun.
Yeah, exactly. I can close my eyes and like get at least 50%.
I guess in comparison, that $30,000 makes Warhammer seem like more fiscally feasible.
Like Warhammer is like on discount.
All right, should we dive into the meat of the episode? We've all been watching Fallout, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I've been stuck right deep in my uni studies right now, and I have to like ration out my episodes. So I'm only into episode 5.
Ration? I finished it in one day, bro.
Dude, I can't do that.
I've got to episode 2. So
yeah.
I
Okay.
don't mind talking
Wait,
about it because I'm not a
let me
spoilers guy.
ask a couple of questions. I think spoiler free. I think if it's spoiler, please cut it
Well,
out.
here's the thing.
All right.
It's hard for me because
Right, just yes or no.
well, before we get into that, I've been trying to avoid spoilers, right?
There's no
And
spoilers.
It's too late. I've already been spoiled so much.
No.
Like, because the Matrix has me, and it knows I like Fallout. All right, I've been a long time Fallout fan, so it's been like my Facebook, my YouTube. Like without me even clicking anything, but without me even looking at Fallout, it's just been showing me things, and obviously like spoilers.
All that's telling me is you can't be that caught up on your fucking uni work, all right?
Just trying, dude. I check my messages, and suddenly it's like,
Hey,
check out this thumbnail.
Look, okay. How accurate is this movie compared to the game? Like,
Okay,
accuracy
so-
wise, the ratio.
So this is the part where I'm super impressed. They've done a fantastic job of bringing the video games to life. All the visuals, 100%. Everything is very accurate.
it's 1-to-1, all right.
The art team and the prop team responsible for the TV show absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. Everything looks the part. That being said, it is the Fallout 4 aesthetic that some people don't like, some of the original fans. But if you don't mind that aesthetic, everything looks the part. The set design of the vaults, the costumes, the way they made the West Coast look, it looks very good. So love it. All the visual design, fantastic.
Okay, second question.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this series, all right? That is the series that we are watching.
Yeah.
How how is it related to the game? Is it any relation,
It's
or is this like a brand new?
It's absolutely set in the universe, right? But it's its own story it's telling.
Okay.
It's a brand new vault. It's a brand new named characters.
Okay.
They make a lot of references to existing lore in the games, and the world it's also set in the West Coast, which is like where the Fallout universe actually started. With Fallout 1 was on the West Coast. So far 5 episodes in. I like it. I like the Fallout aspect of the show. I think the show itself is I love Fallout. So all the Fallout parts, 10 out of 10. Perfect,
Okay.
love it. As a show in itself, so far 5 episodes in, I haven't really made my mind yet. I think the show is fine.
Okay.
Controversially, I know everyone's loving it. I know like everyone I've talked to has been like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I think as a show, I like it. It's fine.
Are you like 1,000 years old?
Sliced bread. Right. Question, because I don't play the game. So there's a lot of questions that I would like ask how accurate it
I'm
is.
happy.
And, you know.
You're talking to the right. I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but you're talking to the right person. about
Oh,
Fallout.
let's go. All right. So pretty much what I want to know is like how the characters are, is it set in actual, like, do you see these characters like in the game or no? This is like brand new ones?
No spoilers, but all the main characters are brand new.
Okay.
All the main characters are brand new. The factions all exist though, like
Okay.
the Brotherhood of Steel, the Vaults, all the corporations like Vault Tech, even down to everything's accurate, right? Even
Right.
down to the food they eat. They make a lot of references to like Blamco mac and cheese, Yum Yum deviled eggs. All that are brands that exist in the games.
Right.
So the truth is, they've actually done a very good job of being very, very faithful to the games, which is why I think so many people like it, because they're honestly sticking to their guns with this is Fallout and we're gonna make a Fallout show. So everything is
Right.
really, really, really true. I've had a lot of people come up to me and they're like, this is so much better than the Halo show, which I know Danny's a bit annoyed about.
Oh, I don't. It is funny you say that though, but every time I've come anywhere near you in the shop in the last week, someone's asking you questions about Fallout. Like it's
Yeah.
141. Like I can see it on your face. You're like, I've had this conversation 17 times.
Yeah, I've had to tell people my opinions of the show so many times, and I have to be like, I'm only 2 episodes in, I'm only 3 episodes in, I haven't made my mind yet. The Fallout part seems good to me, dude. I like Fallout.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I'm happy with all my questions being answered.
There's some stirrings in the community because I still stick. I'll browse like Fallout Reddit or like my friends and stuff. We all play the games. And like
I thought you have uni work.
what? All right, there's like what 16 hours in a day that I'm awake. I can't constantly just be staring at computer programming code. I'll lose my mind. But so even Fallout fans can't even agree on Fallout because Fallout is a tricky universe. The original games were made by Black Isle Studios under the publisher Interplay. Interplay went bankrupt, and then Bethesda bought the license to Fallout, right? And then they made Fallout 1 and 2 were by Black Isle Studio, and then Fallout 3 was Bethesda. When Bethesda took the license on, they took a lot of creative liberties in I wouldn't say remaking it, but they changed a lot of the writing to how they want to take the future in the direction of Fallout, and that upset a lot of fans. So you had Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, our original studio, and then you have Fallout 3, 4, and 76, Bethesda. So within the Fallout community, most people are either Team OG or Team Bethesda.
What's the primary difference between those two things then?
The original games were set on the West Coast, and a lot of the Bethesda games are set on the East Coast. So originally it was easy
So it's
to
a Crips and Blood situation.
kind
all
of,
over
yeah.
again.
It's like a two-pack Biggie situation. It's easy. So originally it was easy to forgive because it was set on the other side of the continent, so people could be like, whatever.
Yeah, they're quite far away from each
But
other.
then-
and like separated, right? So they can have their own existences, I guess.
So I've always been fairly impartial to the the stirrings of the community, but I think it's safe to say for me, I'm a diehard OG fan. I love Fallout New Vegas. I love Fallout 2. I've actually never played Fallout 1, but I do intend to at some point in my life. And the TV show is set on the West Coast. So it's directly touching upon that original established lore. So you get a lot of people that are very, very protective of that original lore. Because that original lore has been like kind of fucked around with by Bethesda a lot already. So you got some like real diehard New Vegas fans.
Okay. Another question, just a follow-on question, not a real question though. So,
William, the question,
It's
man.
a fake question.
all right. When do you feel like we could talk fully about the episodes? with our listeners?
It's hard, right? With any TV show, you kind of got to give it like
2 weeks?
healthy.
You got to. There's a perfect mark of like not spoiling anything, but also not missing the mark when people want to talk about
You
it.
got to give it a healthy amount of time. Like I'm talking like you probably can't talk about spoilers until it's been a month.
All right.
There's plenty of people that are still watching it like me, right? So, but
Too bad.
yes, even though that there are some changes in how they've depicted the lore, I think everything is actually quite authentic. To even down to the way they depicted the Brotherhood of Steel, I think it's way more true to the original, where the Brotherhood are like very zealous, right? They're like a zealous group that will
Grey Knights.
yeah, exactly. They'll do anything they
feels like that,
can
doesn't
to
it?
take power and take like technology. When like a lot of the newer lore keeps depicting the Brotherhood of Steel as good guys, when there really isn't a good guy in Fallout. It's just factions.
Everyone's out for themselves.
Yeah, everyone's out for themselves. It's representative of that. Like every nation is out for themselves. Just as like pre-war, pre to the bombings, every country was just out for themselves. Every corporation was out for themselves.
So that, because again, you've played the game a lot. The suits seem kind of goofy. Are they?
Nah, they're.
Is it just hard to actually depict that how it's supposed to really be in a live
I
action?
think I think in the show the suits look a little cumbersome, but I think that's because they've used like practical effects. A lot of the show seems to be like actual props, like practical effects they've made rather than using CG, which makes some stuff look really good and some stuff looks a little goofy. Like the movements of that T60 power armor is a little chunky looking because you can tell it's a dude in a stilt.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff like I just finished episode 5 like yesterday, and they had a Mr. Handy, which is a robot. And I thought it was CG, but it was actually practical effects. They actually made a prop, and it looks really good. So props, like
Just did a spoiler.
pun props to that.
I guess with like that thing as a robot, right?
You
That's,
just reveal a character.
Wow, there's robots in the show, William.
Hey.
that's the spidery robot that helps you around the house, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it's like that thing's a new thing. So and it moves its own way. So you can be convinced however it moves is the way it's supposed to be. But a person walking in a suit, you can visualize in your head already. So then it needs to match up with the thing that you assume it's going to be. So it's like,
Isn't that called Mr. Gatsby or something?
No, Mr. Gutsy is a
Gutsy,
variant of the Mr. Handy. They when the war was really flaring up, they were taking the maid robots and they were turning them into military robots too.
Oh, right. Because I saw that in the Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah.
I saw like trying to use the card as a reference though. Yeah. I was like, when do I see this? Like, oh, okay.
You're gonna so like I'm a massive sweaty super nerd, right? With things that I like, especially like this.
Don't out yourself, man. Whoa.
So like as a massive sweaty nerd that like will pick apart everything that it sees, like I can forgo like the small parts that like upset me and be like, as a show, I like it. Especially as someone, especially if you don't have a deep stake in Fallout, you will enjoy the show. I think it's fun with a fun visual design of it. That's my opinion. As an actual show though, there's some parts where I'm like, oh my God, where it's like the show narratively, it's just people going from one place to another place to another place where there's not a lot of continuity and they kind of just bump into each other. And some of the acting is like Walter Goggins, Aces. He's doing a great job of portraying the ghoul, but like Ella Purnell's character's not bad. The guy that plays Maximus, it's just kind of all over the place, the acting, some of it.
You can definitely feel like there's a budget for acting, and they maybe have blown it in the first few moves, and then there's some newer guys coming onto the scene. Like, I think it's hard because you've got this guy's trying to act a serious character for the Maximus guy, but it's also the acting could be a little bit better maybe, but then some of the choices the character's making, which is out of his hands, right?
Yeah.
It's a writing, and he just like blunders his way from situation to situation, and you're like, what?
That's definitely it. So I like the ghoul a lot. I don't like Maximus. He's just an absolute, like, I think I make the joke that if you play Fallout, he's got the idiot savant perk. It's a perk, it's a skill, like an unlock you can have in Fallout, where like the dumber you are, the more lucky you are, or like lucky things will happen to you if you're dumb.
But as someone who's not played the game, I didn't know that's a thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that is
No,
supposed
that's
to be.
just my headcanon. My headcanon is that just Maximus is like luck build and he's just lucky. And like he's like endurance luck and he just happens to keep getting away with doing stupid things and it pisses me off. Like he would do something incredibly dumb and he gets away with it.
That's a perk, right?
Yeah. And then Ella Purnell's character, Lucy, now that I'm a few more episodes in, I can see where her character's going, but it still grinds me that she's so hopeful of the universe and she's so doe-eyed and
Isn't it like following the
innocent.
game? Like, isn't it like the Vault people are like that? No?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but like I feel like after like the second or third time bad things have happened to you, you should have wisened up by now. But she's still so like
maybe so, but maybe it's more realistic to the fact that she's got I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but like she said, she's 24, 25, right? She's 25 years of life living experience. If she came out straight away and then she was like a hardcore killer, that would make less sense.
Well, it's not that I wanted to be a hardcore killer. I just wanted her to be smarter.
No, but even though like because your whole life you've just been like
Correct.
pure, right? Like you're so innocent, right? Even though 2 to 3 times, like she's keep giving like chances and stuff.
It's definitely a personal thing. It's like for me, it's more like this is my opinion of like her character, but I can already see like especially 5 episodes in, I can see that she's going to grow on me a lot. There's a lot of character growth there that I really like. So
I guess I'm enjoying it. Gives it a broad spectrum for growth as well, where she can start from one end and go to the other.
They're also doing a pretty good job of like it seems like season 1 is really like giving you guys that lore dump. Like season 1 is really emphasizing the whole like this is when the war happened. This is what life was like before the war. This is where all the technology comes from.
Right.
And then like and also like the vaults, by the way, they're actually they're actually experiments. The vaults weren't to save people. They were experiments by the guy by Vault-Tech.
Is that in the game?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, in
really?
the show, you finished the season, so you probably see it.
I'm not telling you because it's spoilers, right?
sure.
But is it like that? Is
Yes,
that the same
vaults-
story?
the
as the
vaults-
game?
Now we play a game where William has to match his law with the tango.
The vaults were always intended to be scientific experiments by Vault-Tech. The idea is with all the data they would gather, they would be able to essentially rule over the wasteland afterwards. But it didn't really work.
So who started the war
In the
game?
In the games, the war was between China and America. So it was after the Cold War. It's like a Cold War kind of deal where like communist China and America are like butting heads against each other, but no one's making that first. Like no one's really pulling the trigger first. Everyone's kind of just staring at each other. America hits like a big boom with atomic technology, but also during this time as well, there's a resource shortage. Sorry. The world is going through like a resource shortage, and that's why there's so much like tensions among countries, and it goes through like a stalemate, a Cold War, and eventually nuclear war breaks out. I think the games are intentionally vague with who they suggest fire the nukes first, because the idea is that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter which country, whether China or America, fire the nukes first, because in the end, we're all just here anyway in the wasteland.
Like I'm only on episode 2, and I'm not sure which one it is on. But at some point, they lean up against a satellite that's dumped, and that says CCP on it.
Yeah,
that's the only thing
you'll get a lot
I've
of
seen on there.
You get a lot of Chinese technology showing up in the Fallout games because they started invading each other. Like originally, China was pushing into America through like their power, and I think it was like their manpower. They actually like pushed into Alaska and almost took over Alaska. What happened was the American government scrambled together and they started making the power armor. So the power armor, that original T-45 power armor, was what started turning turning the favor back into America's side, where the power armor was this like technology that were able to recapture Alaska and start pushing into the Chinese heartland with like power, like this indestructible suit that's powered by atomic technology. And then what happened was China wasn't actually able to make their own versions of the power armor, so they went a different route. They started developing stealth technology. So they started developing like suits that would make you go invisible.
Whoa!
So
what year is when they go into vaults? What year is that?
the bombs fell 2077.
2077.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The bombs.
That's pretty future.
That's future.
Yeah. You have to, it's an alternative history line. It's not, even though it's set visually in like 1950s aesthetic, the bombs fell 2077. I'm pretty sure. I don't exactly quote me on this because I don't have a computer in front of me and dates are like my weakness, but I'm pretty sure it's like 2077.
So we just lived in the 50s for like 1,000 years?
I'm going to Google this right now because it will bug
All right,
me.
you do it, Jamie, right now. So I just want to like clarify like how accurate the actual game to the series itself. So Kang answered a couple of questions on the law and who started the war, who dropped the bomb. I just want to know that, and I'll compare my notes what I already watched, right? So
William's doing his homework.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm just like asking Kang, so when it's gonna happen, stuff like that.
Yeah, 2077.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, that's why they have robots.
Correct.
I guess.
It's an alternative timeline.
But the
It's a
TV
bit tricky.
sucks though. It's not even flat screen.
I do like the idea,
But you also have mobile, like Pip-Boys. that
Yeah,
can
but it's
do
not even
anything.
colored. It's just green and
They were too busy trying to make
What?
robots. I don't know.
it's huge though. Like they could have just like have an iPhone or whatever.
well, okay, well, this is my main problem now, is then, right? Effectively, they had all that time. That means Warhammer existed in their world, right? Why does their power armor look so shit compared to Space Marines? Why couldn't they look like Space Marines? They had something to go by.
Also, could it be our Vision Pro? It's our Pip Boy. Big brain right there.
Pit Pro.
I think it'll be fun when Apple does Apple like Vision Pro, and you actually get your own little like heads-up display. You get your HUD. It can show your health bar and like your stamina bar and all
What's
that
that?
stuff. Your XP.
VATS? Is that called?
VATS.
I-
No, VATS is a different thing.
I'm so like that the fact that it's now that it's dropped in 2077, that throws me off significantly to where I was before. Like the opening scene from the show where the bombs drop and they try to escape. That they're so visually.
Yeah, it feels like
Inaccurate to
it
what I
should
think
be
now.
in like the 50s and 60s, but they have skyscrapers.
I guess they do have all those. I didn't think about that.
Have you guys enjoyed the show? Like, William,
Yes.
you finished the show.
Yeah.
So do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. I just want to know how accurate the
Very.
series to the actual game.
I
That's
think
it.
if they didn't, I think the fan outcry would be so crazy. It would just be another one of those like TV shows following games where people would just
No,
be mad.
I'm just surprised.
It'll be
like-
another one of those like Master Chief takes the helmet off and everyone starts screaming at the TV.
Yeah, they're just lucky the characters already had no helmets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Like, I didn't tell much about the vault. Maybe I just asked a little bit more.
I think it's where I am in the show. You're definitely starting to learn more about it. But yeah, visually amazing, everything 1 for 1. There's a lot of parts where like I was like, I was like pointing at the TV, being like, oh, that's the thing, that's the thing. Yeah, like really, really early
Finally.
on, episode 1.
Well, I've known you for a while now, Kang, and you don't really like a lot of things. Surprisingly, not very many things. The fact that you're on board with this, it must mean it's pretty
I'm
good.
very impartial with many things in my life, but there's a small select number of things that I'm passionate about. And just how it happens that like on the podcast, we've talked about it like 17 times now.
All right. How accurate is the game compared to the Magic the Gathering cards?
The Magic the Gathering cards are pretty 1 for 1. I mean, it's easy for Magic because they'll just they can just put a piece of art out.
Yeah, they
and just be
actively
like,
don't
go.
put effort in.
All right. Now, I wish, I hope they're going to show the Wise Mothman in the series.
It's not in the right place because the Mothman is in the Appalachians. And the show's in the West Coast.
Just bring the Mothman over. I just want to see.
Where are the Appalachian Mountains in comparison to the? Do you know?
I
what
don't
it
know
is?
American geography,
north
but I'm pretty sure it's like
center?
North Century.
Okay.
Hey, you never know. Like,
He does fly.
Fallout 4 was Boston. Fallout 3 was Washington, D.C. So I
they're
can
gonna have
spot
like
those
a-
on the map. Those
Hey,
are-
I'm Mutton here.
hey, what about? Are they going to do like a Fallout China or something?
So on purposely, Fallout never really depicts outside of America because once again, the game is so set in that like Americana culture, and also I think they also like to keep it vague that we don't really know what's happened to the rest
Fallout
of
Australia.
the world. There's a couple times where you meet.
It's no difference. It's just like in the
exact
bush.
same.
Snakes will kill you. Now, imagine the brown snake is like 10 times bigger now.
We all just live in kangaroo pouches.
Rad
Giant
snakes.
koala.
Yeah.
We just all live in kangaroo pouches. They're just massive.
There's
now.
you do get some references from the games. Like you'll talk to like a Chinese soldier, or like you'll get like voice clips where like it's hinted that China's also been like blown up.
All right.
So
It'd be cool to have like a alternative like Chinese game studio do their version of what they think it would look like over there as well, right? And you could have like two opposing factions like having their own story through the same situation.
Interesting.
Do you get a lot of, because I'm not like, I play games when I can, but realistically with my computer eating its own ass every 5 minutes. Like,
you brought it in again. Yeah.
It's nothing's going on my computer at all. But do you get a lot of, I guess like Western game companies depicting like Asian culture at all in games?
Sometimes you don't, not really.
And
Most
they
of the
could do a good
time,
job
if it is
of
Eastern culture, they'll be depicting Japan. Like Japanese culture is definitely the more popular
If
one.
you
more
play
marketable.
like Command and Conquer, right? I think Command and Conquer one time they had like
Had Red Alert, right?
Red Alert. I mean, like one of it, they have different country, right? So like, if you pick China, your main perk is quantity. It's like you have a lot of infantry.
Yeah, in Age of Empires
A lot.
too. If you play Chinese, you start with more villages.
Oh.
You have more population.
Yeah,
It's actually a very strong ability. So,
more resources.
yeah.
Because like, again, as a surface level like video game player, I guess I don't see that as much. But then also like, is it disingenuous to expect like a Western country to depict it and then to depict it well? I guess
I kind of just like move on and shrug because I imagine it's the same thing when like Western studios depict like Japanese culture, where they really kind of grabbing at surface level stuff. Like when Western culture does depict my like people's like stories, it's either Journey to the West or it's like the Dynasty Warrior
Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That's the one. That's the word I'm looking for. So
Yeah, it's
you've
not too
watched
bad.
what, 2 episodes, Tenny?
I've only watched 2, yeah.
How do you feel?
I like it. Again, I'm a pretty surface level guy, so like I actually quite like it. It's been fun. I think the acting's like can be a little bit better here and there, but it's actually I think you also got to take it as a grain of salt for some of those things. Like when they're spending a lot of money on a budget in every other direction, maybe there isn't a lot of money for top level actors.
Because you don't actually have any stake in the Fallout world, so you don't know much about the lore at all. So you going in completely brand new to the universe. What does it look like to you?
Visually it looks very good. I think that's true. And so obviously I've got some like, I do the same thing as like, I just very surface level, but like when you look at the power armor, for example, and it's quite clunky, you're like, how would that actually work in real life? And there's like situations that happen, again, I'm trying not to be too spoiler, but there's situations where he like, the power armor is functional in some cases and not functional in other cases. And you're like, I feel like you'd come across some of the more unfunctional cases more often than not based on the lack of dexterity that it might have,
Well, the power armor the power armor in the lore is actually essentially a walking tank. So it is a little cumbersome. Like in most of the games, putting on the power armor will actually lower your agility.
True. I guess it comes from a game point of view where there's perks to it and the opposite. Like
I have to chalk it up to being like, in the games, oftentimes, most of the games actually, in order to actually use power armor, you have to get power armor training. You have to be trained in using it. And I have to chalk it up to being like Maximus is still an amateur. And he's not very experienced in it. Right?
I guess the whole point of him being like a squire to a knight is that he's supposed to learn that along the way. And if he's skipped half of that or the majority of that, then of course he's not going to really know what he's doing. He's just like having a crack as he goes. Like when I first bought my new car, right, I got it from the lot. And I had one of those like key fobs that you insert into the thing. And the guy's like, you know how to use this, right? I was like, yeah. No, like, I go out to this is like quite a while ago. I was a bit younger, you know what I mean? So, and I go out to their car and he's like, cool. And I was like, signed all the documents and I was going to drive it away. And I sat in the car and I had to Google a video on where to put the key fob because I didn't know where it was. And all the guys in the car yet are like looking at me from the window and I'm like, just pretending like I was just on my phone, just hanging out. And I'm watching a video on where to put that key fob and how to start it and like how you have to put your foot on the brake and then push the fob in and then it like turns on that way. And I feel like maybe Maximus is just in the same position. Like he's just working out the fob. He's just got no like Google to go through.
I drive like old and cheap cars, right? That's all I can afford at the moment. I drove your car once and I was like, where's the handbrake?
A lot of the car does its own stuff. So when I'm in the truck, it's a whole different world. Like I'm in a different mindset for that. So I do all the truck stuff super safe. But in my car does like the braking and the handbrakes and the locking and all that stuff by itself. And so I'll get out of someone else's car and just totally forget to put a handbrake on them.
Do you like that? Do you like the car taking control? Because I'm one of those people where it's like, I like full control.
If you drive a newer model of car nowadays, it's all automated. Like my car is just like if I just leave the car, it just goes. When I stop the car, it just goes into the handbrake straight away.
Yeah.
And you start the car, it just release the
Do
handbrake.
you still have a handbrake?
No, it's a button.
Yeah, someone's the same.
Yeah, it's just all a button now.
I think like as well, like I've always liked that. It's like even before I had this car, I had a Suzuki Swift, and it was very lame. It was very lame. People used to like in Australia, you have like plates on your car to determine whether you're a learner or a P-plater, or like you can have like once you're off, you have your full license. You don't have to have like these plates anymore. And when I had my P-plates on the on the Suzuki Swift, guys would come flying up next to me in their like Commodore, assuming that I'm like some young attractive girl, and they'd look at me with me in my hair and my beard, and they'd be like, oh. But there's like the amount of truck drivers that come back at the end of the day to the yard and they drop their big CW truck off, and then they get out and they get into their like a little Toyota Yaris or like a Kia or like something, whatever it is. It's like very little cars. Like people think it's like not very manly to have those cars, but after like spending like 16 hours just like trying not to kill everything on the road and like being responsible for this massive hulking piece of machinery, getting your little go-kart car and going home without really thinking about it, it's pretty comfortable.
Fair enough.
You change cars like every 3 years, William.
Every year.
What?
Yeah.
Every year.
He's got that wife perk. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So what year is your current car?
I think 1.5. I think next year I'm changing it.
No, but like what model is it? Like 2020,
2020. But yeah, my wife will drive it for a year. Then I'll use it for another year, and then I'll get rid of it.
Do you notice, has cars changed much recently?
Oh,
in the last few
definitely.
years?
Technology change. It's just more intuitive, safety. Like there's more safety features now.
Yeah.
Like all these blind spot indication, like lane changing, active cruise control, and many things like I think this current model I have, like like if you put stuff in your boot, right? Sometimes, or you put stuff in your back seat, you just cover up and you can't use your rear view window, right? Yeah. So what happens is you just flick a switch and your rear view window turns into a screen, and the camera just shows the back. Yeah. So you can put stuff up and you can see the back. And you imagine you like pick passengers, like if you have three tall like guys in your back and just block off the whole thing, you can just use that and you can still see the full back rear view. Yeah.
So like in 2016, I bought a 2015 Audi A4 Quattro, which is a very nice car, right? And it was for that time I did Uber Premium, and that's the whole point of what I did it for. It was quite an expensive car. No way I could afford it unless I did this thing. And so this is what I bought it specifically to do, like Uber Premium. And I drove Uber every Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday nights for almost a year and a half. Put 110,000 Ks on it in 1 year, which is a lot. It's a lot of Ks for a car, and which explains the poor position the poor old girl is in right now, where she's like trying to die on me. But I did that then, and it had some super cool mod cons. But within about 3 years, like a Mazda would come out with better technology, significantly better technology than what that car has. I had that at the time, and it's like it was moving so quick that the car that I got in 2016, which is the 2015 model with like 3,000 or 4,000 Ks on it, is the premium, like as premium before you go to like a proper sports car. And then, 3 years later, your general car is coming out with better stuff than that. It's like shows you how quick that technology is moving forward, right?
Definitely.
My car's from 2006 and I drive a hatchback. If I get in an accident, just goodbye. Goodbye, guys.
No, it's mechanical.
We're both hoping someone's going to hit us, right?
Not too hard though, because I won't survive.
So your car is a mechanical car, so you don't have any like electrical issues. So unlike like all the newer cars, you have like electrical works in there. You have chips, you have like computers and stuff. Yours is just pure mechanical. So servicing and everything is simpler.
So the issue I have with my car is that the thermostat keeps going on it, which allows the engine to overheat, and then it allows the cooling system to break down. And that's happened like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
And I've had it all through warranty changed, but no matter what they do, they can't fix it. So this is the first time around where I've had to deal with it myself, and it's just way too expensive, like thousands of dollars that I need to replace it. So realistically, I just drive it till it like lights on fire essentially, and then get a ute or something useful that I can actually use for the shop here. But it's like the same thing as like they've fixed all the physical parts. They can't figure out why the thermostat keeps stop working. So it has to be some like software or something along the line that's making that happen. And then it causes a bunch of physical things like the engine oil and the coolant overheats, and then it like starts to degrade certain parts of the inside of the engine. And it's like, but it's all coming from some sort of software thing that they can't fix. I'm like, cool.
It's a T45 armor, almost perfect. Not the T60
Inherent flaws.
Yeah, it started with it as a 9 out of 10, and it's ending in a negative 12 out of 10.
Obviously, I won't name names, but like you get the like classic story of like my mate had one of those like ring cams in his home where like his car was going out. So like he was paying pretty good insurance for it, and he just had his like mate come in the middle of the night in a balaclava, break into his car, drive it into the bush and burn it so he can claim insurance.
Did that work though?
Yeah, he got the insurance out of it.
I feel like
he just claimed like a theft and whatever, and like this, he was like, people like rid my car and burnt it.
Someone's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the insurance company's gonna listen to this podcast.
Yeah, you might have to edit that out, man.
Nah, it's long gone, mate. This is a long time ago now. If the insurance is still bagging on it, then
I feel like we're in a pretty low socioeconomic area as even just where we are as the shop and everything. So I also have known people who've tried that but did not get away with that. And it's like I feel like the insurance companies in any country are some of the best. Like, I don't know, sleuths, because they're going to try really hard to not give you your money every time. So
sometimes I'll just like be like looking at my car out from the window inside Wangara, and I'll just be like, inside all the balls, and just be like, any moment now, someone could just go in and rob it. Just come on, please.
Well, poor Riley here the other day, one of the guys who comes down and plays cards, he had his card dented here at the card.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they left a sticker on there saying, "Oh, hey, I'm really sorry. Here's my number," and it was a fake number. So he got full stitched up, eh?
Oh, it happens though. Like people just pretend, like just write something.
Yeah.
Just for the sake, like.
Would I feel better if someone left a sticker at all? Like,
It's not for you. It's before like someone else saw them do it, so the other person's watching them write the note. That's why.
Yeah, it's like I
Gotcha.
did the thing already. So
See, I got banged up in a parking lot, and no one left me nothing. They just drove off, bro.
Same as mine. The back light's gone out because someone smashed into it. And that's the way it was.
I'm constantly frustrated at like how bad people can drive. Like, my car's not moving, bro. It's a parking lot. How do you hit me? What happened,
Trust
man?
me, it happens a lot. My car got banged in a car park before. I'm in the car, in school.
Yeah.
Person reverse into my car.
Yeah.
Because it's like a big Land Cruiser, right? With all the accessories and stuff. So the car didn't hit me. It was the accessories that hit me. So, yeah, like you have like
the
this
wheel tire on the back, or whatever.
yeah, whatever, like a big like a metal casing thing at the back just rammed into my car. I'm like,
It's like the
Okay.
videos of I'll see videos.
Did
of
they
like,
notice they hit you?
well, they can feel it a little bit, a little bit. I feel it a lot. They feel a little bit because it's a Land Cruiser, right?
Saw a video of like you get one of those big trucks transporting those steel I-beams, and like he didn't fasten it down properly, and he stops at a light, and the I-beams just the momentum takes it
straight
right into the
through.
cabin.
destination.
It's hard, man. Like like as a truck driver,
It's like
you're-
Final Destination, yeah.
It's true, yeah. As a truck driver, you deal with such like all your positions are really high risk. Everything you're doing, like you're like I've got a relatively like medium sized truck that I'm driving at the moment, and it's 10 ton to begin with. Before you start putting stuff on it, like that 10 ton needs 100 meters to stop before if you want to stop at a full thing, and like you're moving at such a pace, you're carrying loads of like tons and tons of goods. Anything falls off you, anybody cuts you off, you're in such a high risk situation at all times, and people are just mental on the road, cutting you off. Like they'll see your truck coming and they'll like zip out in front because they think they want to get ahead of you, but then they'll get in front of you and do 40 kilometers less than the speed you're doing right now, and you're like, come on, man, it's crazy.
Wait, just something I forgot. Like to ask, how was Thunder Junction?
Oh, Magic. Yeah, the new Magic set.
Clearly, me talking about the truck was boring as fuck.
Yeah. William's
I
going
mean,
to
like, I
interject
was
with,
like,
I like Transformers.
Hey.
I like
I was
Thunder
like,
Junction.
What about Thunder Junction?
It's fun. It's a good set.
To be
Yeah.
honest with you, it with all the other events going on, like that same week we had ProQuest,
Yeah.
and we had the Tokyo Island, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and then Thunder Junction.
It kind of rolled through and it was done, and then it was on to the next thing. And like, do you know what I have noticed though? It's a very popular set, but we haven't sold many like collector booths and stuff like that so far. But have we? I don't think we've had a Commander night since then. Yeah,
I think people have just been busy, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a big weekend, and then we just hit the beginning of the week. It doesn't feel like it, but it is just Wednesday, right? Like,
It's long.
It feels
the,
like it's
the
been
set
a-
releases this Friday though. So last week was pre-release.
true. It's also
Release-
not technically released.
Release
Yeah,
this
it's the
Friday.
same thing
Yeah.
nowadays. But it is a very cool set. Like it's stacked with like some really cool cards. I think the art aesthetic's really cool. It's funny, like the same time that Fallout's out.
Yeah,
there's
my
been
brain is hitting it, dude.
yeah, like it's
Cowboys.
Cowboys everywhere. Like
Yeah.
because as someone
yeah.
who's not really like has no like stake in the Fallout like existence. To me, it's just a Western, right? It's just a
Yeah.
Western. The whole situation just seems like a Western.
It's different. West Coast, Western, East Coast, Metro Apocalypse type deal.
Okay, fair enough. Well, either way, but we're like full cowboy situation going on at the moment, right? But the set's really cool, the art's really cool, the characters are cool. But it's like within 2 days, we're getting Bloomborough like spoilers already. So it's like
I swear someone in Wizards of the Coast, the analytics, the marketing team, they just know, right? Like, we also had like War of the Spark, which is Magic the Gathering Avengers come out same time as like Avengers Endgame, all that stuff.
True.
It's like there's got to be something going on.
War of the Spark, isn't it March of the Machine?
Martian Machine?
Yeah, isn't
no,
it?
War of the Spark was like a few years ago.
Yeah,
When
Yeah,
the movies
isn't
came
it
2018.
Avenger? No. I thought Avenger was the one where they cross planes, where all the
War of the
planeswalker like paired up, right?
Yeah, War of the Spark. March of the Machines was them all coming to fight the Phyrexians. March
Yeah.
of the Machines was like the newer one, and then War of the Spark was them all coming together to fight Nicobolus.
Oh, okay.
So there's been 2 Avenger Assemble endgames.
Well, War of
in
the
Magic.
Spark was more like a not the War of the Spark. The new one was more like a
March, yeah.
X-Men kind of deal thing going on, right? Where it's like a like super
Team
squads. Yeah, it's like a team up squad thing. Whereas like
Yeah,
I guess
you're
it's,
right.
I guess
No,
it's
you're
the same
right.
thing but different. I don't know. But yeah, Thugging Drunk was good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Prelude was good. We did it as like down at Burger Boy. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Again, same thing. Probably could have been a little bit more organized, but that's pretty standard for here.
Have we had many people send in anything for like intro music for the podcast? Because we still don't have an intro really kind of yet.
Oh yeah. How many do we have? Still 4?
We have 6 Patreons.
Oh my god.
Oh, I do have to mention, right? So, I mentioned a fella called Aaron from the shop here twice last podcast, except that I didn't mention him at all. So 2 times, Aaron turned out to be the guy that I thought was from America.
Right.
Ace. He just had a VPN, so it looked like he's coming from the US, but he's actually not in the US.
Oh.
And the guy that I talked about, who painted all these minis over one weekend, also Aaron. So I mentioned him 2 times in the podcast without actually saying his name. So shout out to Aaron. Good job.
Oh, awesome. So it's the same guy?
Same guy.
So he's from Australia?
Yeah.
All right, fair. So we still have no American listeners
So no
yet.
Americans.
Oh,
So
okay.
I bragged about having premium marketing abilities, and I shot myself in the foot straight away.
It's okay. I'm still happy.
You still
Listeners
making
is the
shirts for
listeners.
everyone?
Sorry?
You still making shirts for everyone?
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't have to ship to America now.
Well,
though.
like at least people are taking their time getting to 10, so it gives me plenty of time to work on it. So
Right, awesome.
I have decided though, like I need to go buy some new clothes, some new shorts, stuff like that, because it's been like since COVID, basically, I haven't bought any clothing. I buy like the skate brand clothing from down the road here because it's the only shop I've got time to go to. But I'm like convinced if I'm gonna wear any clothing from now on, it's gonna be shirts that we've made ourselves. So I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna order some shirts for the store. I thought about the first one being like a Northern Boards one. You know, the old band shirts where it has the dates that they go to, and then it crosses them out as they go. I was thinking about doing that, but with like our schedule for the week of the regular days. Because now we're both back open 7 days a week. It's very simple. It just needs a bit of text on the back, logo on the front. It doesn't have to be amazing. It just needs to be something to start with, right? And I'm gonna get a few of those for the shop. We can sell them here, and I'm just gonna start wearing the only clothing that I've like
Awesome.
produced myself, right? And it's gonna look a little goofy, but at the end of the day, I ain't here to pick up chicks, man. I just need to wear clothes, and I don't want to go pay full price for a shirt. So.
All right.
if I ever forget what event I'm running, I look down. Oh, there we go.
Hopefully by end of April we can get to 10, right?
I think we're getting 2 people a week at this stage.
All
Do we
right.
have names?
That's fine.
Can we give shout outs?
Yeah. Well, all right. Graham was number 1.
Let's go.
And then I think Jono was number 2.
Oh,
who
come
comes
on.
and plays
Jonathan.
Old World. Ace is in there. I'm going to look bad now. Oh, Hayden, who plays Commander.
Let's go.
That's number 5. I'm going to look bad if I can't remember everybody, but I really appreciate it. And you'll get, you know what?
Riley, number 6?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Riley. Yeah, Riley. I already mentioned Riley this time as well.
Riley.
So what, you know what? Anybody who signs up will get a shout out on the thing.
Oh, let's go. Let's do it.
And I will personally come up with an anecdote for every single person that signs up that I've met.
right.
I really like a bunch of people that I haven't met.
We'll do it like in the beginning of the podcast as well. We'll shout out
that's
to
a
the
good
guys
idea.
to sign up, right?
It's better organization. I like doing organizational things on the podcast itself
Yeah.
before the podcast.
Yeah. And send us songs you think would match for an intro.
Yeah.
And then thank you for
We've
your
been
support too.
browsing ideas, but we haven't really cemented on anything.
Come on,
yet.
one or
This
two.
last week or two has been so long. I don't know. Like I was thinking, I was like I said, concerned before about like the sales for the Convention stuff. It's been less than less than 4 days, 5 days since it came out. I didn't even consider the fact that it hasn't even elapsed around, but it felt so long. I was like, oh. But
Oh
it's not
yeah,
really, is it?
we're gonna organize like a commander event for Northern Boards too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Next month.
yeah,
For
in
sure. I
May.
wanted to get
End
the
of May,
pre-release.
right?
Yeah, I want to get the pre-release out of the way, and then we'll promote.
We're gonna put it up
over.
the event soon. So if you play commander in in Perth, gonna check this event out. It's pretty fun. Where I go around and destroy a board.
William just wants to cause havoc. And
Do
just-
you think I can go see if like commandfest.com.au is like not registered and I'll just claim it for ourselves?
North of the river, super mega spectacular commander mode. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And then good pricing too. So it's fun. This is pretty cool. The last event we did was pretty good. We
It's
had
a
like
while ago now.
yeah, December.
December. Okay.
So we did like what 34?
Yeah, I think the goal was to
Yeah, we
do-
packed out.
Yeah, we're gonna try to go 40 this time. 10 pots. We try 10 pots.
We can get more tables.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we can get 10 tables.
We
At
can get
least
what it was, yeah.
I think it's almost winter, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be cool.
That's why I don't know if you noticed there's a new shelf in front of our second door over there. So by the time we need a thing, I'm going to get a second aircon in there, on the other side of the building over there. I found a guy. I had a mate. I forgot was a Friggy completely. So he's going to come and sort us out.
Nice.
Pretty decent price. So
Oh, I'm keen.
Let's
double
go.
double
so
aircon,
keen.
baby.
All right, we'll get that done, and then we'll promote the event. So if you are a commander player, you are in Perth, do remember to check it out. I think Ken's gonna shout out that event pretty soon. We're gonna collab with the Burger Boy as well.
Yeah,
we're gonna collab. Do a collab.
Well, hopefully, like Black Sheep will be open soon, and we can start doing something along those lines with the smoked meats and stuff like that as well. Like I think
we can do an event with Black Sheep as well. It's like Commander Sheep.
Well, at their new restaurant, we've got made two 7.5 meter long like Valhalla tables, like big long one piece tables, right? And
can you imagine 10-man pod?
It's perfect for that kind of stuff, though, right? So the new place is really supposed to be like a premium proper restaurant. So we don't want to do anything over the weekends, which would be the best time to do an event theoretically, but it's supposed to be a restaurant. But Mondays and Tuesdays we're technically closed. And we're theoretically going to have like full license, food restaurant open. So maybe on a Monday and Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, we'll come up with a regular event that we can run on those days to really take advantage of that big, cool open space, like, like premium architecture and like food and like drinks and all that kind of thing. Like try and do something there, I think for sure.
Are we looking at Q2 or Q3 this year?
we're like, and here's what it's the same thing with the Fallout TV for gang. Like people, when we do these new things like the restaurant, we make out like our whole existence. So if people like regulars and customers and stuff like that, they've known about the restaurant coming for like probably 6 months now, and we're still going. We're probably like 8-9 weeks at least.
All right, so we're looking at maybe end of Q2, early Q3.
Yeah, it's hard because we're gonna have to open the Uber Eats before we open the restaurant.
Yeah, that's easy.
So for like permitting and stuff like that, we can get the kitchen done a lot earlier than we can get the permits for the main structured area. So, but we're pretty keen. Like I think Nam and I are both very keen to just actually jump in there and get some cooking done because we've been excited for a long time, and when things go too long, the excitement's really hard to maintain for that long period of time. And I'm pretty excited for like friends and family when they ask me every second day how it's going, to give them a good update rather than just waiting on this or that trade or this trade to get it done.
Let's go.
It's good updates. We have the podcast going strong as well right now. So we're like, I lost track what episode we're in. 6?
This is 7.
7?
This is number 7.
I think it's 7, yeah.
Yeah.
7 episodes.
When we forget which number, we've made it, boys.
7. Next one's 8. That's like 2 months in.
That's 2 months.
Oh,
well, that's so because our first round of Patreon is done, we're getting sent $27. We've got to decide how we're going to invest that $27.
So into t-shirts, no?
One t-shirt at a time.
All right, you've heard it first, boys. The first broadcast investment is into t-shirts.
All right.
Episode 8. See you guys then. Take care, everyone. See you guys.
See ya.
Have a good one.